Happy Monday. Welcome back to Retake the Week. And yes, it is the only time of the off-season you care about because, well, it's rostermania. I mean, everything else is happening. You're not really that bothered. Players are on holiday. There's the occasional tiny Tier 3 online cup. Hey, maybe there's a really poorly run Tier 2/Tier 1.5 LAN to follow. But most of you aren't watching that. I've seen the numbers. I've been watching a good number of the games. You lot aren't. So we all know what we're about right now. It's about rumors, it's about leaks, about juicy gossip and drama and all this other nonsense. People are team building, people are breaking things apart, people are cocking things up. It's rostermania, of course. But before we get into all that, before we even address the Swedish man in the room, we've got to thank the people who make this show available on audio-only platforms and also support my lavish lifestyle of eating beans and crying myself to sleep in the cold. The members. Now, members get access to the King's Court interviews, the BTS segments, which you just completed, and Quack, of course, decided to just drop a leak by accident. Love that one. All other live content that receives a VOD, you get access to, as well as the Contributor podcast, a new episode of which was released today. The primary topics, they're not as boring as they seem, because one is about how Counter-Strike should be more like cycling, but it was actually a pretty interesting perspective to get, and I think actually is something I'm going to refer to like in the future when we talk about CS and how we model our game and how we think about our game, because it wasn't a terrible analogy. I thought it was pretty interesting to talk about. But yeah, we also discussed Jabot and some other stuff to do with Donk and Munacy and AWPERs. It was, well, classic podcast of the current era. Let's put it that way. A lot of the big topics that everyone's going to be talking about discussed on that. So thank you to our contributors for making it all possible. You see their names down there. And of course, the Court Honor Roll as well. They are the second tier of special amongst the membership. Quack, do you have anything to promote, or do you want to just get straight into the juicy business of gossip? You're a journalist. You love gossip, right?
Yeah. It's Fragbite's basically a tabloid, to be honest. No, I don't have it with me, but I always just want to talk about the TLDR magazine, to be honest. It's in the other room, so I can't do that now. If you're interested about hearing my takes framed slightly differently by a slightly more handsome co-host, you can go watch Overtime on Inferno every single week, because I am now the more permanent co-host of that, as well as this, which I think I said last week, but I'll just promo it once again.
Yeah.
Follow on my socials. CS Doku is back up and running. I'm on your favorite platforms like TikTok and everything. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Right, lovely. Let's get into it. And we're not going to start with the rostermania. Yeah, we're not going to actually touch on the juicy topic straight away. We are going to talk about XSE Pro League, which in its own way has been juicy. Has been, yes, a source for the juice. It has
Why'd you say it like that?
I'm just too iconic. I can't help it. That's why I said it like that, obviously. But yeah, let's talk about it. As I open up the stream on my phone so I can read chat more easily because I'm half blind and I get an advert for some stupid lusty dating site. Like, don't want you. Go away. Do you ever get those adverts?
Never. I use an ad blocker.
Oh, I should.
I never go on YouTube on my phone.
Oh, I do all the time because I have to. But yeah, anyway. Dumb whore advert out the way. I can finally look at my chat on my phone, and I can talk about XSE
in the first 3 minutes of the episode.
I don't give a shit. Dude, I've said
professional YouTuber, everyone.
You use the R word and the C word 7 times an hour.
Semi-professional.
Not even close to set. I'm an amateur. This is for the love of the game, no other reasons. Let's talk about the XSE catastrophe. Lovely little rhyme there in the setup. Let's discuss this. What a mess it's been. We've got hacked PCs. We've got players playing on PCs that just crash all the time. We had massive tech delays. Quack, I don't know who the hell these XSE people are. But just off rip, I don't want them to host anything ever again. I don't know if they've ever hosted something before, like at least not on this level. But I don't want to see them again. Like, fuck these people.
I know who one of them is, because they usually hang around in the Liquipedia Discord. They're quite a fun guy called Bjorn, and I would say that his name is Björn, the way he spelt it, but I know he's Chinese, so I'll say Bjorn. It's I know that they've had stuff before. I know that much. I don't know what. They're called Shinsai Esports, and I'm just gonna word search that on Wikipedia. Yeah, they've had XSE Pro League before, except then it was a B tier tournament with other mostly Asian teams. I think this was one of the events. Yeah, this was one of the events in that contributed to the major qualification. I think one of these earlier this year or last year. One of these like VRS kind of tournaments. Other stuff like random Asian events. This is the first time they do something at this scale. This is tier 1 licensed. Like this is a tier 1 event per Valve's own standards. Slightly weird to say that, because I think they announced everything pretty late. I don't know how it works. Mischief would know, and he would call me out on it if it was if they didn't break the TOR. So I'm assuming they didn't. It's in Guangzhou, and it's they played a group stage in one venue, playoffs in another, and we've just finished the group stage, which was a Swiss stage. And the first 2 days were pretty fucking horrible. So do you want me to go through all of it? Because I know all of it.
Take us through all the steps, all the little details. Do the journalist thing.
It starts when BetBoom arrive. I don't know exactly in which order all this happened. It kind of broke at the same time. BetBoom arrive. They go to the prac rooms. They log onto the practice room computers. And Martinez pretty much immediately has his Steam account hacked, fully broken into, and completely lost. And about a day afterwards, they search through all the practice computers themselves, the BetBoom people, I assume, maybe with an admin. And they find remote access Trojans, and they find keyloggers. Just all of it, just with a simple, I don't know, it looked like malware bytes, just free malware, so anti-malware software. Yeah. Just a regular scan, that's what they found. And that's probably how he got hacked immediately after logging onto that PC. Mm-hmm. And that's problematic, of course. In a statement made today, XSE Pro League have said that they've wiped all of the PCs and reset all of that stuff. He got his account back, so it was fine in the end. And the admin responsible for those PCs has been dismissed.
Yeah, I saw that too, yeah.
That's a click-friendly headline for me. Admin fired over virus scandal. So thank you for those views, XSE Pro League. Those page views. We had... yes, we had big delays as well on day one. Very, very, very big delays. Some games were delayed. I think the first games were delayed by about 3 hours, and then the rest obviously were more delayed. And that had to do with everything from an SSD issue leading to CS having to be reinstalled to, I think I heard something about that Frozen or Twist PC couldn't read the config. So they had to switch the RAM, the actual sticks of RAM in the PC 4 times before they got it to work.
Yeah.
Frozen took an hour to fix his desk. And I think this was something... the first I heard was that it was uneven. And then XSE Pro League said that the desks were not adapted to those with extremely forward arm positions. And if I'm combining those two, I'm assuming they had some fancy gaming desk. I haven't actually looked them up to see, because I'm sure they're on the broadcast. Some fancy gaming desk which aren't completely flat but have some raised portion at the front. Or not fancy, rather cheap, because that's what cheap gaming desks do. The kind you find at IKEA, which have all these weird constructions, which I guess messed him up, because he's one of the people who has the keyboard like this and sits super far and with the mouse behind the monitor and everything. That took an hour to resolve, to basically get him a new table. Further delays, just general tech delays with just general issues. Just I would say that you have at pretty much every event, except you had all of them at once in every game.
Right.
Where somebody will say my in-ears don't work, somebody will say whatever. English broadcast I know was also affected. I wasn't watching it. I was watching the Swedish broadcast. That was basically the game is supposed to start at 11, and then at 3 p.m. it was just a timer which was ticking, and just a text that said and just a text which said this timer will probably be extended. Because they just kept going up by 30 minutes the entire time. I know they had bad communication because then the caster would say like when we asked like, do we know what's the issue is, when will the game start? The caster would go, I've only been told soon in the like broadcaster channel, which is always great. And then day 2 started. It was similar issues, just regular tech issues, nothing huge, except for during the 9Z Sinners game when a transformer blew up. And the entire venue's power was shut down mid-game at 3-1. I heard then that crowd started chanting for a refund, like to refund their tickets. At which point somebody went on stage and said, "You will all get a free mouse pad as compensation." And they go to the store where the mouse pads are, and it's a 50% discount. That was the reported. That was what it actually was.
50% discount on a mouse pad.
Yeah. So like, what would a mouse pad be at a Chinese event? I'm thinking like if it's a regular size one, it would probably be something like $20. You get a $10 mouse pad.
You got $10. I mean, I don't know how much the ticket was, but like, that's crazy.
Probably more.
The fact that they fuck everything up, they lie, then they're like, you get one for free, 50% off. Fuck them, fuck them kids. Like,
I'm assuming what they were like, you'll all get a free mouse pad. Go in the back and say like, we have 50 mouse pads. Fuck, what do we do? Like, we only have 50 to sell. But yeah, that was it. And then there was this rumor. This I can actually deny, according to what XSE said. People started finding all these job listings that like all of the jobs for XSE were unpaid gigs, like hiring students with no experience, whatever. It's like, come work for us for free, no compensation, no experience needed. That's a great thing to find when you've already got a failing CS tournament. Then XSE clarified this and said that all like production staff are paid. They only looked for volunteers for like peripheral roles, like tiny roles. So that's probably fine. And there I can believe them because like it's a huge deal if you work with volunteers. A lot of events do.
yeah.
But yeah. And then A3, 4, and 5 went off without a hitch. It was no problem. Minor delays, but nothing gigantic, which was nice. They fixed it. But now we're going to a new venue.
Yeah.
All of the shit you fixed at the old venue, you will have to fix again in the new venue. And you will forget something.
It's something I have to ask, because this was brought up in chat just now. And I actually don't know who the fuck's been casting a lot of these games in English.
Anders fucked his voice. Yumi took over. This I saw on Twitter. Yumi was the one casting the 9Z game when it went down, and you can actually see like the camera, and for like 2 frames you can see how the place gets dimmed before the camera gets cut off entirely.
Yeah, because I feel like I've tuned into games sometimes, and it's like B-Dog and Mac casting. I've not heard Yumi and Trav cast once.
I only know they did the 9Z.
I never heard Anders and Vince cast because I didn't watch the best of one section really. So I just genuinely, when I tune into the thing, I'm like, is it just who's even at the event anymore? It feels like it's just Mac and B-Dog.
I'm not sure there is a. Yeah, I'm not sure there is a. Like, if anyone's actually there, I don't think they are. I think they're remote. Maybe. Oh no, Banks is there. He's
of course, Banks is there. This isn't Valve's game. This is Banks's game, bro. Of course, Banks is there. He's got every fucking tier 1 gig. Then the offseason was like, can I get a ni hao in this hizzy?
But hang on. He didn't get Cologne.
True, he didn't get Cologne. This is a makeup call.
This is his major, man. This is his major.
It's Banks as well. Banks as well.
Yeah. It was because he did the stage interviews with JW, and they also have a translator, obviously, because it's a Chinese event. So Banks asks the question, and then the Chinese stage host repeats the question. Then JW answers it. He repeats the answer, and then Banks. Yeah. But like they stumble over each other. So like JW started answering, and the translator was like, "Let me do my job. Let me do my job. Okay, wait for me. All right, and wait until I finish the question." Just like very serious about it. But yeah, no, that's been the event, and I'm look, okay. we're gonna recap the results in a minute. I've thought the results are kind of fun. The lineup is kind of fun. It's a fun event overall. I'm not that excited for playoffs because I just think that, granted, they're only running 2 quarterfinals on Thursday and then another 2 on Friday, so they're not doing like the PGL thing of running 4. That's good. But I'm just not I'm just not particularly excited about a 9 a.m. game being postponed until 12, and then like Alliance and Nemesis will start their quarterfinal at like it. I don't know why, but it says they're playing at 9 and 12:40.
Yeah,
so I guess they've
scheduled their games to last exactly 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, so I guess what's gonna happen is they're gonna start their game at 9:40 in the evening and then finish past midnight. A couple of games finished at 2 a.m. I think.
Honestly, I can't wait to watch Paravision win a best of 5 over 9Z in the grand final. That's going to be such a great game. Isn't everyone excited for Paravision 9Z best of 5?
Oh, it's a best of 5 final.
It's a best of 5, yeah. So that's going to be huge. That's going to be electric, I'm sure.
Game of the week.
It'd be great if Tyloo actually made the final. Firstly, because it'd mean they knock out 9Z in quarters, which would just be funny. But also, then the crowd would actually make... Honestly, it'd make it if the crowd was huge. Like, if the crowd was big and hyped. Like, that would improve this, I think, tenfold.
Yeah, the best final for a crowd, for this crowd experience, I think, would be Tyloo versus FaZe.
It's 100%
I'm looking at the other... Yeah, because I'm looking at the other side of the bracket. There's nobody here who has a single Chinese fan aside from FaZe. Like,
Lord,
find me one. Maybe there's a couple of Jame fans in the audience, but it's not like
on like an ethnic basis, like the Kazakh Majiki has like more Chinese support, but like we're pushing things way far. Like that's way too, maybe he walks on the stage, they're like, maybe we can be a fan of him, but like it's like
it's a family. It's a
family. I'm reaching, right? I'm reaching here.
It's the Family Guy thing with the color chart. He's like,
I can't, because if I keep talking about this, I'm going to make a stupidly offensive joke. But honestly, the more realistic outcomes did not scream Tyloo FaZe in the final.
I can actually tell
we'll get to that in a minute, but yeah.
Alliance also has a bit of an Asian fan base, now that I think about it. I don't know if they're Chinese specifically, but Alliance are very active in the Asian region in a lot of other esports and have traditionally been. So I actually think if we get an Alliance FaZe final, that might also be good for the local crowd.
Okay, well, I know of nothing besides CS, so if you say so, I just have to throw my hands up and be like, see, Quack, thank you for your insight. But you might just be fucking lying, I don't know. But yeah, let's talk about the actual results. Let's get into the Swiss stage recap. Let's talk about the matchups going into playoffs, who's playing who's beating who. But let's start with what's already happened. Of course, we were treated to best of 1 into best of 3 Swiss. So all the games that don't really matter, they only decide what best of 3s you're playing. They don't really matter. Those are all best of 1s. So we got 1, 2. Some teams played 3 best of 1s. It's a bit of a crapshoot. I'm not a big fan of it. Obviously, we have teams that go 0-2, then bring it all the way back. Then you have some other teams who go 2-0, then screw it all up because they were paper tigers, they were fake, they were never really that dangerous. Wonder who that could be. Something about the mid parting on your face like lets me know that maybe you know something about the 2-0 to 2-3 frauds at this one. But no, it's always annoying to see that format used. Like if you're going to rip off other events and their formats, just do best of 3 Swiss. Just do a best of 3 Swiss. Like, please, for the love of God. It's so much better than this. But anyway, in terms of the results we ended up getting, should we start with the good stuff? Like the teams you think played well? Or do you want to open up with some negativity?
No, we can start with good stuff. I want to rip through these pretty quickly because while it's been semi-interesting, I honestly find this Swiss stage very boring because of the format and because of the way it's shaked out. I think maybe having a best of 3 Swiss in the major made me desensitized.
It's completely ruined everything for you, hasn't it? It's like,
yes.
You just can't come back from that best of 3 Swiss to back to best of 1 nonsense. It's just ugly.
No, it's like coming home from a January holiday in the Canaries, in the Canary Islands. Like step off the airplane.
Yeah,
it's not even snowy. It's not even a winter wonderland. It's this slushy, rainy,
it's
slightly
grey,
above 0
miserable.
degrees.
Yeah. Don't worry. I kind of live in the capital of that stereotypically, even though technically other places are worse. I know the feeling. Yeah. I know the feeling coming back from just stepping off after the hot holiday. You're in shorts still, and you're like, "Oh fuck, it's nippy, isn't it?" Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I'll just
get into it. Positives.
Tyloo, very good. They only played 4 maps. They beat FaZe on the way there. They beat Paravision on the way there.
Yeah.
As much as they only played 4 maps and made it to 3-0, that's a valid run. Also, the way they kind of beat Eyeballers, considering both of the other teams who played a best of 3 against them lost the map, and Tyloo kind of just destroyed them. So
yeah, Eyeballers, as much as they went 2-0 to 2-3, they did play fairly close games in overall. Like they had some overtime losses in their best 3 losses, but no, they did get utterly stomped by Tyloo, and Tyloo, that's the version we want to see, right? When we go into playoffs and we're hoping for the upset, hoping for them to make the final to get the crowd alive and involved and excited again after the total disaster the opening stage was. It's exciting to see them stomping, rolling, and everyone kind of fragging. You know, you get the lowest rate player in that series is Jam Young at a 116. Like, just reading the omens, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. So I agree. There's some reason to be optimistic, even though it's a pretty fraudulent, like 4 map 3-0. Like, it's not like they won 3 series, but it is still something.
Yeah. And like, I'll give Eyeballers a positive in a couple of ways. It's a debut with Crims. I think they did well with that. Just briefly, and then I won't talk about them a single time again. They were in both of their last 2 BO3s, they were literally an overtime away from making it through. And that sucks to lose. But they did it pretty good. They're the only team which consistently played cash. They played in 2 of their 3 best of 3s. And Maxter was a fucking revelation. Maxter was really, really, really good throughout this entire event. So they get and JW. Fucking, did you see JW's clutch against 9Z?
No, I can't say I did because I didn't watch the best of ones really. I just watched the series they played against FaZe where JW was almost invisible. So when you were like JW, I was like,
no.
You know? Just, really?
The way JW, that clutch alone is like, what is he, 30, 31? I think he's 31 or 30.
He's almost dead, yes.
He's 31. No other 31-year-old in the world, except for maybe Xantares and maybe in his best games, Twist, does a clutch like that in 2026. It's something insane. Nobody else has done it. I doubt anyone else does it for the rest of the year. And that's about it. That's about all I'll say about Eyeballers. Good debut with Crims. Crims actually played well. Like, Crims actually slotted into the team pretty nicely, which maybe says more about Dex and Rolf, but yeah. Anyway, that's about it. Bet Boom, get it done. I think they maybe had the easiest route there compared to, like, the easier route compared to Tyloo, because they played Big and Sinners in best of 1s, and then Nemesis in a best of 3, which they still lost the opening map of. Perivision, nice recovery after, like,
it's before we, I mean, it's not just the Quack arbitrarily summarizes show. The Bet Boom point, just to stay on topic for more than 2 seconds.
All right,
the Mirage they lose by itself is just crazy map. Like, I've watched the MOUZ POV and I've watched the Texi POV from that game. It's just absurd. It's just 2 guys going, oh, you can play make, fuck you, I can play make, and then the other guy going, no, fuck you, I can play, and they just go back and forth whilst we actually get a solid Magic-y performance, whilst on Mirage, yes, no one on Bet Boom really stepped up and delivered alongside MOUZ. So that really came down to the difference. Like, it's a 13-10. It just comes down to one team had a guy and a half, the other one had a guy. Delivering as they expected to and showing up. So no, that was actually a really thrilling game. And then it's a shame because the rest of the series I was hoping to see more Texi, you know, but he kind of faded after Mirage. Like, he's looked a bit. He's still young, all that stuff, yes, but he's just looked a bit shaky across the Nemesis matches, and it's like he has these massive outbursts that are awesome. And then other places, I think it's just like his mechanics are inconsistent, decision making is a bit inconsistent, and when it hits hard, but far too often lets him down. But yeah, MOUZ, I mean, he's just the star of the stage, isn't it? Like, he's a 150 rating, I think, for the entire stage on average. He drops a 154 in that series. He's still looking like one of the future best 5 riflers in the world. Like, I don't think that's crazy to say that he will achieve that status someday, because the rate he's going, the way he's playing, he's just fantastic. So I really want to highlight MOUZ before we move on. Because, yes, we can now move on to Paravision, who did go through 3-1. They did have a loss. It was a best of 1, but it was still a loss before they did recover and get it closed out.
Yeah. Nice win against MIBR. They debut nicely with a new roster. I would say that this is, even given the opposition, this is a better performance than they did at the major. And that's with a new roster with 2 players who you can have quite a bit of doubts about. I think Alliance did a really good job, but for once I'm gonna let you go off on that because I need to go get some water. I'm actually going Anders mode, so go off on what you think about Alliance and then beating MOUZ.
I won't, but that's cool. Just to touch on the Paravision debut, because again, it's like I have an opinion too, funnily enough. It's so far looking... It's hard to judge exactly how it's going to translate for the long run, because, again, they've played, you know, best of 1s against Linvision, Tyloo, and not FaZe, and Alliance. They then beat MIBR with NQZ. And that's cool. Like, the maps they win in that series are very dominant, very one-sided. But we're yet to see them fully tested. Like, if you'd have told me that any version of Paravision we've seen could get through this bracket, I'd be like, sure. But we're seeing the one with Slaxyez and with Hobbit. Like, I want to see how that dynamic works a bit better. I haven't had a chance to... Well, haven't had the chance. I haven't gone and done the work of downloading these demos to watch them. Their games were all stupid early, or they were the best of 1s. Their best of 3 was at 7 AM on the 4th of July, which is Saturday. There wasn't a chance of me watching that live, so no, I've not done the work to catch up on Paravision exactly to see how everything's feeling and everything's working. But I'd expect them to get through this bracket, and they have. But yeah, let's touch on Alliance then, because Alliance... they make playoffs, and I'm a bit surprised, to be honest. Like, I don't look at this field and think there's a guarantee Alliance are making it through this Swiss. I think it's actually, I'd bet against it if I had to. But yeah, they get 2 best of 1 wins, and then they play a best of 3 against 9Z, which they win in 2 maps. That by itself is impressive. Thankfully, this is something that annoys me sometimes about Alliance. And I saw the trend in their best of 1s when I was looking at the results. It's like, oh, Alliance had one of their better results, a shocking upset win. Twists overperformed like fuck. And I'm like, this is not reliable, this is not replicable. Their best of 3 win over one of the better teams here, another team that's in playoffs, a team that's we've kind of say we should expect to see in the grand final based on most recent results. They take a 2-0 win. And they do it on Dust 2 and Inferno. Again, Dust 2's 9Z's pick. Inferno is a pretty commonly played map. Like, they look good doing it. Era has a fantastic carry series. But most importantly, the dynamic with BobXD and Arvid was working. It was ticking along nicely. So, despite the fact that I still would argue that I preferred them with Malo 9, gotta say, BobXD, still a talented rifler, still pretty skilled. Ovid has done a good job picking back up his old responsibilities from back when he played with Poi, as you remember quite well, and as I'm sure the chat will remember us talking about. And they're just looking pretty strong. Like, this is a stronger version of Alliance than I was expecting to see. Now, they've got a very winnable quarterfinal, which could make this a dream run for them as far as VRS, as far as prize money, as far as how their season's going to kick off. Like, them playing Nemesis, that's a winnable game. A very winnable game. And I know Nemesis has firepower, has players we're excited about, players we've discussed a fair bit, like Resol we've talked about, Texi we've talked about, Stein we've had a couple conversations about. Like, they have some shooters. But the map pool has some gaps for them to go into, some places they can challenge them on. The individuals look pretty sharp so far from Alliance. You've got reason to be optimistic if you're Swedish.
Yeah, I don't see when I'm looking at this, I don't see a reason why they couldn't go and win the whole thing.
Well, I don't again, the rematch with 9Z are like, oh, they did already beat them. Like, that doesn't usually hold that much water with me, especially when we're talking about groups versus playoffs. One team's had far more games against bigger opponents, and now, you know, I expect them to be able to bounce back a little better. I expect 9Z to shoot harder on the average in the average series because Luchov is sick. DGT, sick. Like, they have some really fucking like high-level rifle play. That's going to be tough. And then when you talk about the grand final, whoever makes it out the other side of the bracket, like let's say Alliance do make the run to the final, it'd be a crazy run. You're playing probably BetBoom or Parivision. Parivision at best of 5, good luck keeping your sanity. Or BetBoom, again, they will outshoot you. They probably have pound for pound an as good caller as you, like who can find the reads, find the mid rounds. That's a really tough series. So I wouldn't say they should be like I wouldn't say come out like there's no reason why they shouldn't. Like, yeah, there's a few. I still don't think they have.
No, of
best
course there are
team.
many. I don't see a reason why they couldn't. Like, it's dark horse, definitely a dark horse, because I think they've shown
in an 18 playoff bracket. Yeah, you either are a favorite or a dark horse. Like at that point, there's only 2 games to win before you're in the final.
Yeah.
So no, a very interesting run, and one I was not expecting. I have admitted, and I will admit again. So credit to Alliance. One of the big disappointments, and I don't say that lightly. Bait. They should be in playoffs here, man.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of, there's no reason to. Like, come on, coming into this event, Bait are the 3rd highest ranked team per VRS. They have been, going at it with big teams over the last sort of 6 months when they played events. They've beaten teams of this caliber in best of 3s quite frequently. They should expect more. They should expect to make it our place, even though they do go 1-2 in best of 1s. They then have a best of 3 with Big to solve it, and they lose a close game. A close game that includes like an Ancient where they drop a 111. They pick Ancient and can't get a T-side round. And I'm talking about a team that I've historically found really compelling on a map like Ancient because of all the aggressive riflers and extreme like playmaker heavy type pieces they have. That's a map that should be right up their street, or right up their alley rather. Instead, they get utterly cremated, like set on fire, and just the ashes get pissed on. It's just there's nothing there on that T-side. And sure, the CT like, oh, they started to make the comeback happen. Maybe. Well, they didn't. They didn't do enough. They should be majorly disappointed. That 13-11 is flattering in the end because it is their map pick and they get 1 T round. This is a pretty awful way to start your season. Maybe they see it as them ending their season still. I don't know when they're next scheduled to play a game. But this is a very disappointing run for Bait.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. It comes down to the best of 1s, I think. Like, if you don't lose to Nemesis, if you don't lose to Alliance, you're never in that position to begin with. And look, like, that one, I didn't feel that Alliance bullshitted their way through that. They kind of ran circles around Bait on Ancient. But I also know that, like, best of 1s are notoriously flip-floppy. And I'll just, once again, plaster on btrams' stat that is stuck in my brain. When you have, like, in best of 1 games where the rank discrepancy by VRS is bigger than 10 spots, 42% of the time the lower ranked team wins. That's the case in both the Nemesis game and the Alliance game. Like, by my math, that's a near 50-50. Like, it's a near 50-50. When you do best of 3s, it's 27% with the same ranking discrepancy. Even when you have that stark a difference, it ends up being a near 50-50, even at a pretty high level. So that's rough for Bait. If we have best of 3s, I also know Bait are very tough in best of 3s. I like to think that a Bait game always goes to 3 very close maps, or 2 very close maps, but like, which happened here as well. Very close games, pretty much no matter the opposition. So if those 2 games are best of 3s, I do think they still win it out on a 3rd map decider in both of those cases. So I think they kind of get shafted by the format. But
again, they get to play Ancient against Alliance, only get 1 T round. Yep. They have every reason to go win that big series. They don't. Like, this is a very disappointing event for them.
It is, but slightly format, yeah.
A team that I want to touch on quickly, because, yeah, there are some pretty big disappointments we still haven't touched on, but let's talk about FaZe. Just because I cannot decide if it's FaZe up or FaZe down. Like, I cannot entirely decide what my takeaway is. And you initially look at this event, and you're like, okay, they debut with Jabone. They make it through playoffs after going down 0-2 in just best of 1s. how could you possibly have mixed feelings? I look at this team and I don't think of a project that's supposed to be satisfied with being among the favorites to win XSE Pro League. This is still a team with Frozen and Twist, and has just been like, we just gone and signed an AWPER who's kind of gangster, at least at this level. Like, we should be the favorite. Why are we not? It's because Nechu and Jacob both kind of suck. And you can only afford one to kind of suck. So I have mixed feelings. Because I think FaZe are one of the few teams where I look at this event and I'm like, I cannot take this event in isolation. Like, you are supposed to be one of the big names. You do have two of the biggest name riflers in the entire scene. Riflers who'd slot into a number of way better sides, make them near major contenders. Like, you're telling me you take Frozen or Twist, stick them in Na'Vi for Immer, and you're not all of a sudden talking about them like a top 3 team? Like, you would be. 100% of the time you would be. So FaZe, there's a great deal of expectation, there's a great weight upon them that I expect, like, amazing results. And yet, the fact that they do have to grind out this near embarrassment of a series against Eyeballers. Like, map 3, you crushed them. Great. You should have crushed them in 2. You had, like, triple, quadruple overtime, then another overtime just to win a map. I expect you to blow this team away. So I have mixed feelings, and I was looking at some stats. I was like, can I get some answers as to what's going on? Like, why does this team not seem to work with these two? I don't really know. I do think they're still a player away. And I'm kind of like, until I see that change happen, I think they are going to be limited.
Yeah. Good thing is that now that J Bowen is in the core, and Nachu as well, if you can retain him, you can change Jacob without taking any major hits on your VRS, and you also get invites from today. That's something good. Because I think I like Jacob, and I'll come out to bat for him in the sense that I think more than some other players who appear at this level, he's actually shown glimpses here and there in a way that like Ultimate, when he shows glimpses, he does the bare minimum of what he's supposed to do. He never looks like one of the best operas in the world, even on his best day. J Bowen looks like he can hang with Twists and Frozen on his best day. It's just he can never do it when he's asked to do it. It just happens once in a blue moon. So I'll go out to bat for him in that sense. But he just hasn't had the development he was supposed to have, or he had to have, which is what I predicted. FaZe is the wrong environment for him to actually develop as a player. He was never actually going to get good while on FaZe. So for that reason, I think, and he's never going to get good at this point. At this point, there's no like, you've given him almost a year. He's not gonna get good at this point. You're better off sacking him, sending him to another team. Maybe he can be good on like a 9 would be like the perfect landing spot for him. 9 or like back to BetClick and develop with them for a bit. They need somebody else to come in there. Is my thing, and I'm on board with the general community sentiment in that at this point because he is just bad.
Yeah, you'd have to change some things up role wise, I think, because it's just hard to find a player. Because what we're talking about as a replacement for Jacob is a guy who's going to take a large volume of opening attempts, but he's already like an established sort of tier 1 level opener. But then he'll also take a good number of anchoring spots. So unless Twists changes CT role, because Twists is a very active CT player currently, unless that happens, you have a very difficult time finding someone who's an exact match, especially someone who's established and doesn't need time to develop at the highest level. Like, it's going to be very tough. And to be clear, this isn't some resounding sort of endorsement of Nechu. Nechu's been rough. Like, he's not the finished product either. He's not looked perfect. This is not one of those worlds where it's like you have to kick Jacob, you can't kick Nechu. If you have a better like sort of quality player who's already fits those roles, who doesn't make you have to change your roles. If I had to pick, like, yeah, get me the established player who really fits the roles. Like, it may be easier to find the Nature replacement and Nature upgrade. He's, yeah. It's just a bit ugly. Like, as I've put it, I can't afford to have both these guys underperforming over and over again.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. If there are more, moves to be made. Stair would be actually kind of an interesting player to try. I can't actually hate on that move, but in general, I do think this team is still a player short. Now, this event, if they do go and make the run and win the event, it probably is going to be just because they have an absolutely insane trio of firepower. Like that Twist, Frozen, and so far Jiboan trio has looked incredible. When they all turn up at the same time, especially, because there was that one Mirage map where it's just Jiboan versus the world. And I thought that was kind of funny. Hit him with the Save Jiboan tweet.
Yeah.
But generally they are. Just short-handed in two spots where I just don't think they can afford it. So yeah. FaZe Up, maybe. Still maybe. Still remains to be seen. The excitement's been huge, especially just for that one Danish AWPER. But I think we should be a little more tentative.
Yeah. What do you make of Luminosity's debut? With
it's the best
every single
advert.
player. Yeah.
Sorry, it's the best advert for Gizmy that's ever been made.
Yeah, the Gizzer. He got cucked, unfortunately, but he got his revenge immediately.
And by doing nothing, just sitting there watching them go 0-3.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say, really. Like, it's just the best advert for him possible. Like, sure, they lose to NIP in the best of 3. They lose best of 1s. But they lose, it's a Lin Vision best of 1 loss. It's a Nemesis best of 1 loss. Again, they're best of 1, so I don't have a lot of stock in it. And the one best of 3 they lose, you could say is on paper justifiable, as it always is when NIP beats you. Like, on paper, it's NIP, man. It's snappy led. They've got some real good players. It's like on paper, but in practice, this NIP has struggled to deliver on any of the paper value. So I do think it's a massive disappointment for them.
Yeah, as much as it's NIP, they have Stown opping. Like, I keep going back to this, where it's like, this is what I said about G2 signing Wrinkle on Overtime on Inferno the other week. It's like, all right, so G2 have decided Senpais is bad. Who should we sign? Maybe the guy who took 2 years to try to develop on NIP, didn't succeed, was replaced by Stown and immediately mogged on the op the second Stown picks up the gun. Like, he's not... That's how bad Wrinkle is, because I think Stown is that bad, and he's still a good AWPER in a weird way. Anyway, whatever. Luminosity, yeah. You sign the 4 players out of a very successful team, except for the caller, who's very obviously a big part of their success.
And then you pay the consequences, and it looks funny, and you get roasted for it. I mean, look, there's still lots to figure out. I'm sure they need to get used to the new playbook and playing with their new IGL. Yes, that all needs to happen. It's just a terrible start, isn't it? It's a terrible start. You could not have asked for a worse start. Another team, actually, that kind of... The other 0-3 team that just doesn't look like they have the pieces. They just can't hang at even a tier 1.5 level. Sinners, man, I congrats on making that miracle and attending the major. It's looking more and more like a miracle since you played that major and have now started playing other events and playing at games in general against just tough opposition on LAN. Yeah, it's a shame you couldn't have just ended at the major.
Yeah.
Like, we're qualified for the major, just keep that feeling and never play again.
Why have they been able to retain all 5 of their players?
Sinners?
Yeah.
What kind of question is that?
But just a general, like, they should have been picked apart.
Who would you pick for who?
Kisarek. 100% should have, I don't know, but he should have moved up. Stressarn could have moved up as well. Maybe it's to come. The shuffle season's not over. Oh, it's for the future. I don't know. I just felt like they shouldn't have been at the major. They made it there. Very nice. They were obviously too bad to hang, but they still had like good players. They've had good players across the season. should have been picked apart. But yeah, I guess maybe they're just shit, to be honest.
Yeah, no, the what we've witnessed since they made major qualification rank is that they're just really underpowered as far as firepower goes. Like, they cannot hang against a lot of teams. I don't know who's picking them apart and for what pieces. Like, that's my problem.
Yeah, right. Fair. I think that's all. We've talked about all of the teams. I wanted to do this. We didn't exactly blaze through it, but I think we've talked about every team now.
Yeah. Just think it's time to get into rostermania now. The thing we promised.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Oops, all shuffles.
Let's get into this. A lot of shuffling. First up, Aurora go international. And as a reward, get the ugliest lower third I've ever made. I need to see who completes this roster. This is one of the many teams where we're going to have to kind of speculate. Because, yeah, it's been confirmed. Ash has come in. Jimmy's official. Who the actual fifth is. You know it's Kixan?
KRL knows it's Kixan in the sense that they've had 3 meetings as of like a week ago. And we're about to put pen to paper.
Okay. Well, until that point, officially, we don't know.
Yep.
Cough, Nico, cough. But for now, it is just an empty spot. So I'm still just fingers crossed Kixan can go some other places. A lot of places need a fucking IGL.
I think he goes there. If we just touch on that and then never move on with it again, if it is Kixan, does this team win events?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to ask that question again. I was trying to catch up on chat. It all updated at once.
If it is Kixan coming in, do you think this team wins events, just in general?
It's hard to say. Because Aurora wasn't terrible. Like, Aurora could still make a top 8, a top 4. I think this team would be better. Yeah. Wins events. Tough.
I think they win those kind of cups where Vitality and Falcons don't show up. Maybe Spirit even. They could beat Navi in a playoff game on the way to a trophy.
If the heavens align, sure.
But like as LXCB said, if Vitality aren't there, does it even count?
Still a trophy.
Trophy.
You know, it's still a
trophy.
Retake
the Week trophy. Yeah.
We'll talk about it. But no, look, they've signed one of the few straight up genuine legit upgrades to Soulfly, because Soulfly again wasn't that terrible. Like, he really wasn't that bad as an anchor, and he did what he could as a support player in other places. His numbers are genuinely just okay, and like the advanced numbers for like full buy stats also look pretty decent. Like, there's nothing to sniff at when it comes to Soulfly. Like, he's a decent little player. It's just, as far as the things he does go, Jimmy does them better. And Jimmy haters are, of course, completely fucking wrong about him having fallen off, being washed. They just don't understand the impact of Spinks. This will be a very successful move. Like, it doesn't mean Jimmy's going to come back and start dropping 115s, 120s, or whatever the hell else. It just means that they'll have got another upgrade in that position. The IGL will come in, allegedly Kixan, and he knows how to use some star riflers, some very baity, big ego star riflers. So I expect to see some good stuff. Now, the limiting factor on this team as far as going and winning events, as you put it, is what Xantaras do we have when we get to playoffs in those events?
What? Let's just... What happens to Xantaras and Woxic if they have teammates like Kixan and Jimmy and a coach like Ash instead of teammates like Major and Soulfly and Fabre as the coach? I think, to be honest, this is the kind of situation where I could genuinely see like Ash and Kixan come in and they just go, "You've been doing this wrong your entire life," and then they fix it, and then Xantaras, I'm not saying he elevates like a huge amount, but I'm saying that maybe he stops the decline. Maybe he can get back up to the level we saw last year, or similar to it. Maybe Woxic goes from being perfectly serviceable to maybe starting to creep into that wonderful territory. Like maybe that's the sort of improvement. That's probably the best case scenario, but maybe that's the sort of improvement you could see from having like a Kixan, who's good at using his star pieces, or an Ashe who I would say is pretty good at like optimizing and like developing players. And I don't see why that couldn't be true for these players.
See, one of the issues with that is, remember, we have quotes as to who the sticking points are when it comes to this team playing different styles and trying to maybe optimize, use their players in a different way, be more tactical, more surgical, more precise about how they play and how those players are set up. It is kind of the guys who are left.
Yeah.
Two of them especially. And so the idea that Ashe and Kixan come in and it's just like, hey guys, you know how you didn't want to be tactical? You know, he didn't want to be super structured? We're going to do it now, and you're going to do it in English. Like, I'm not sure there's a guarantee of anything producing that. Like,
no, it's the best case scenario. Yeah.
He's been visibly, like, just beneath his level. I don't think there's anything they'll magically unlock that wasn't present when he was dropping good numbers last year, right? Like, he's had better periods than this in that structure. So I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned for that. In theory, it should be a very productive project. It should be a very successful project. It should be a noticeable upgrade on the Maja and Faber duo. In practice, there may be some culture clashes, some butting heads as far as how to play, maybe some language difficulty. If that's going to be a problem. Could be a number of little things get in the way that kind of, piss in the pot. So I'm not super optimistic, even though I do think there are parts of the team that have gotten better.
I think the real upside of this move is now you've made the international move, and come 2027 or 2027 summer shuffle, if you've managed to stay afloat at a near top 5 level, that's easily a team that could attract. Maybe then they could attract like a Molodoy, or then they could attract whoever might end up leaving Vitality at some point. Or maybe then they could attract, the kind of player who Falcons for some reason don't want, or whatever. Like any number of different combinations, and then they could actually become an actual danger. So I think they just have to stay. Yeah, I mean, stay like 5th to 7th at a semi-consistent rate, and then I think you're doing very well. Then you're in a position where you could start stealing players from G2 maybe, and we're suddenly talking about, hey, Xantares drops off, we slot in a Matisse, or like a Heavy God maybe makes a move like that, and then you're sort of starting to talk about actually having a pretty good team.
Yeah, I was almost excited. Then I started realizing in my own head that the only player I want out of G2 is Heavy God, and how he's the only player on G2 who I really don't want to make the move for if I'm Aurora as far as role, because I'm like, I just signed Jimmy. Like, why would I then go, I need to keep mastering in the micro. I'm going to upgrade from Soulfly to Jimmy, from Jimmy to Heavy God, and that'll fix Xantares.
No, but like, you know what I mean? Like you become a better landing spot. That's what the real upside is for Aurora. They make a big investment now, and their lineup, like the actual level of the team, I don't think changes very much, especially in the short term. But in the long term, suddenly you're a lot more attractive, because Jimmy and Kixan are two players who I would say are not down on their luck. I'm sure they had other offers than this, but Aurora is the best offer that they were going to get in the offseason. Now, so they're taking a risk, because that's the reason why this is the best option they're going to get. They're taking a risk by going to Aurora, and that's why Molodoy, if he was ever actually talked about for Aurora, probably opted against it. Instead, come a year, if Aurora have managed to stay afloat, suddenly you're talking about a proven concept, and then they become a lot more attractive.
Yeah, and that end of year Molodoy rush, which apparently is going to happen when Fallen retires and Furia break up or go back to being Brazilian or whatever's going to happen. And Molodoy theoretically seems to be becoming available. That's the consensus, right? Everyone's talking about end of year Molodoy moves, be it Spirit apparently, or be it Aurora. Yeah, I can see how that's positive. Like the fact that you get yourselves marginally better, you have a sound structure. Maybe by the end of the year you're playing pretty good CS, just because you have had Ashe and Kixan for that full 6 months. No, okay, I understand what you're going for, and it's actually not a terrible idea. Like, that could be pretty successful.
Yeah, that's why they're making the move. Otherwise, they could have just stayed Turkish until they run through Xantares and then start over. But, like, they decide to make the move now so they can build.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Let's get into a smaller move. Like, this is a lower level change. Saw kinda reunited. Kinda. They've brought back some players who've like this. You can cluster these players into groups of 3 that have already played together. Because Muteris has played with Story and
UJerks.
They've also played
Crazy.
They've also separately played with Crazy, not UJerks in that lineup. None of these guys have played with noahhhcs on Saw. But I think UJerks has played with noahhhcs on Isurus or GTZ Rhinos or whatever the hell else happens in Portugal.
FTW, Rhino,
FTW, there you go,
Offset,
yeah, someone.
14, Giants, Exploit. Give me any of these Portuguese Rebels, like any of these Portuguese lineups that have ever existed.
Yeah, like, I'm sure if you go back to, like, FTW 2022 to 2024, at some point, there was, UJerks, Arrows Dosh. Did noahhhcs ever overlap? I'm sure he did.
I'll just... no, they actually never played them up together. Interesting.
Oh, really? Damn, okay, interesting. But yeah, essentially, there's a new Portuguese Saw team. Now, this raises the question, Quack, how many fluke runs does this team have in it? Because now, after all these guys being separated apart, Muteris goes to BC Game, plays 3 events, and it's the dumpster fire we all saw, right? That was a dumpster fire. UJerks went off to NIP, was shit. Crazy was in BC Game as well. He was genuinely horrific. And then, of course, Story was in FlyQuest, and that was not really his fault. Like, it's not like he played genuinely terribly. It's just the team couldn't prac together. It was just logistically terrible. And now that everyone's gone their separate ways and done nothing, individually shown very little firepower, now, by some miracle, will they make some deep runs with Muteris somehow?
Oh yeah, they'll make one before October is over, and then they'll make a roster change. Cut the weakest link.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be more than they ever achieved on other teams, so it'll be very impressive again, and I'm sure you'll hand wave it, but I can't wait for it.
Oh yeah, because they're doing it like within the honeymoon phase, and then they drop off again and they cut the weekend.
By October, still in the honeymoon phase.
That's 3 months, bro. We're in July.
Your honeymoon phase is 3 months for a team.
No, it could be. It's somewhere within that window. You hit a stride.
Yeah, but
and then
whatever you want.
I'm not saying it lasts 3 months. I'm saying at some point within this 3-month window there will be a honeymoon period.
Okay. I do love your refusal to just say Muteris is a good IGL. just fucking.
I'm gonna look. It's the off season. He's probably not doing much. I'm gonna try to reach out to Golden just to interview him, just solely to settle this argument and for content.
How does that settle him?
Because I can ask him: is Muteris actually good? What does he actually do? What do you think about Muteris? I'll ask him that question, just to settle this argument.
I don't see how that will settle anything for anyone. Okay.
Well, it's a second opinion from somebody who's actually spoken to him, unlike you or I.
I guess. But yeah, he was the coach of that team for like 3 months. So maybe he can explain the phenomena No, he was actually only the coach for... It wasn't that long.
No, like, I think it's 3... It's at least half a year.
No, it is 9 months officially. He's not benched for anything. No, never mind. I was right. You were right, sorry. Not me. It's just they didn't play that many events, so I thought it was a short period.
Yeah, they didn't play a huge amount. They had international, but like he's worked with Muteris is my bottom line.
Yeah, no, I mean Muteris has worked with him, he's worked with other coaches, and no matter what, makes the runs happen. So
I'll settle this.
I'm not sure you want to. Either he does have insight and you'll be wrong, or he has nothing to offer because he's like, I don't know. The guy does all the commenting in Portuguese. I don't speak Portuguese. I couldn't tell you what the fuck he was saying. Got a feeling it's going to be one of those 2 options.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, no, they're back together. And yeah, the noahhhcs part is interesting because I couldn't tell you noahhhcs from fucking pick one of the Portuguese players on the pitch right now against Spain. Like, he's just a Portuguese guy. I don't know his quality as a player. Like, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he looks like a Portuguese man. I'm saying I don't know him from another Portuguese man as a person. So I don't know what to expect as far as his level. Neither his positions that much either. He seems to be relatively supportive, just from a brief overlook. But it's going to be interesting to see how he fits, if he fits, how he fits into the magical miracle honeymoon that only Mutrus can seem to get consistently. Who knows? But he's the one unknown in this. Like, maybe he's the one Portuguese player who'll break the mold and actually be a pretty damn good player. I would be a bit surprised. Honestly, he feels like a temporary fix. AWPER is benched. AWPER was actually kind of good at times for a variety of teams.
You can't just buy him. Yeah, you can't just buy him.
They can't just buy him, or just wait for his contract to expire, or wait for 100 Thieves to be like, we'll give you 60% off. Just come take him. No one wants him.
Yeah. Well,
no one other than Mutrus wants to play with this guy.
Graham, if you're watching, you know who you should call. Speaking of, because I'm tired of talking about Mutrus. 100 Thieves. They stole Gizmy. Surely Gizmy could have had somewhere higher up to land, but he lands on 100 Thieves, which is a great signing for them.
Yeah, he was I've lower thirded this as them admitting defeat, because again, the Reign to IGL thing was a stupid idea, and it has now come to fruition. Yes, they even admit it. Like, that was just not the play. And they've had to bench one of their role players to make way for an actual IGL, which feels a bit awkward. But in honesty, it's a fucking coup. It's an absolute coup. How 100 Thieves ended up with Gizmy out of all the teams that could have. He's one of the most exciting IGLs in the scene. Everyone's talking about him. And again, with teams, we've come to this point where it's like, everyone knows this guy's really fucking good. You know who doesn't know he's really fucking good? Every team who keeps getting their fucking ass handed to him by him. Like, somehow nobody else, I mean, either their offer was juicy, tantalizing. It's like, you can hold Rain's hand, stroke his broad shoulders when you're sat next to him. You can cuddle Device and maybe give him a peck on the lips. Like, I don't know what the offer is to join 100 Thieves right now, because it's not, you'll make the major, win a bunch of events. Like, it's a pretty, like, weak offering in terms of the competition level guarantee. Maybe the salary's huge. Maybe they were like, you'll never have to work a day in your life, nor will any of your ancestors or your descendants. Although, given the fact that his last name is Von Spreckelsen, in my head, he's already rich. So, he's already coming from wealth. So, in my head, he doesn't need the money. But maybe that is the basis of the offer. But no, I do feel like this is a massive coup. That despite, it's like the Mavericks trading Luka, then getting the fucking #1 overall pick gifted to them. Like, it feels like you cocked it all up, doing something a bit stupid, and then the fates just were like, here's your makeup call.
Yeah, like, you're telling me that, like, I could see him on Aurora. Imagine Gizmy and Ash heading up Aurora. I could
see him on G2. FaZe could do with a fucking, like, imagine if you could say, instead of Jacob, you can have Gizmy doing some of your entry and opening work. Twists takes more of a star opener approach, and you have a better caller guaranteed. Like, especially mid-rounder. That's a place he can go. He can go so many places that are in fucking major range, is the point. Like, everyone who speaks English in major range, he could go to.
Yeah, because this is what we also talked about on Overtime on Infernus. When you go down the list, there's a lot of teams who could use him at the moment. Who, like, even if we don't go to the stretch of, like, we think G2 should have a new caller. G2 obviously disagree, but we think G2 should have a new caller. MOUZ, we think maybe could have used a proper caller rather than Sersha.
100%.
Like, Astralis seem intent on keeping their 5, but you could see Gizmy replace HooXi, like 100%.
He's a better fragger, and he may not be as, I don't think he's necessarily as good a caller. I still have respect for HooXi and appreciation for HooXi. Not everyone does.
He worked well with Ryu, though.
Gizmy did get a lot out of Ryu, unlike basically anyone else so far. I mean, it's just Astralis, but still. There's places. But,
like, go down.
There's so many places. Like, just if MOBR are going to be international, no offense, Linus. This is one team called Luminosity. I don't know who this Lux guy is, but I feel like Gizmy would fit right in there on that team.
Big. You could cut Townsend and let Blamef just go loose.
Exactly. Big. Yeah. Liquid need a change. The fact that we don't have a Liquid roster move yet.
Oh, yeah, we do. This was heavily reported. We've talked about it on the show, I think. JT for Shui.
Oh yes, it's reported. Still not happened.
And
but anyway,
no, and probably Slend, I think, for Ultimate. Either
Slend for
him
Ultimate
or
I've discussed
Jorko.
already. Sorry, I blanked on any of the liquid moves. But
Yeah.
yeah, M80.
Yeah. Use him. Gizmy's better than Sin, I'll say right now. Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that. He's definitely got more hype around him.
Yeah. Many would say NIP could use an upgrade over Snappy. I wouldn't say that, but some would say.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Because Snappy.
Snappy is a god around.
You see that?
Snappy on this channel receives no slander. He receives
I'm not
criticism.
saying anything. I'm saying some would say. I'm just saying what happens outside of just reporting from the outside world. That Snappy hasn't gotten that much done with NIP, despite being a very good caller. Gizmy at the moment, rather, is quite hot with players who are worse than Stown, Shush, and Casper Sky. So
yeah. And then we can just talk about all these like Swedish, French teams where it's like, at some point, guys, give up. There's a quality guy who calls in English. Swedes especially, y'all speak perfect English, despite going, it's not very good, and then speaking fluently. Most of you could do with an IGL upgrade. Most of you could do with an upgrade in a number of positions. But
move FlyQuest to Europe and put Gizmy in the caller spot.
Easy. Yeah, easy.
Yeah,
like that's an obvious one as well. And the list goes on. We just keep descending. Eventually, we'll reach.
We haven't even gone to 100 Thieves yet.
100 Thieves are 60th in HLTV ranking. On VRS, I don't even know where they are. I wasn't looking at VRS.
Well, probably slightly higher, I think, but
42nd, yeah, slightly higher. But
and that's not a slight on 100 Thieves entirely either. It's just saying that like
it's just baffling.
Great job getting Gizmy, yeah.
It's baffling that he ends up there. It's a coup. So yeah, despite the fact that what if we just threw a bunch of random people into our leadership positions idea was stupid. Again, they got bailed out. They got bailed out by getting Gizmy. So yeah, no, impressive haul. It's only one player, but impressive haul for their off-season. Rain moves back to sort of supportive roles. I mean, I'm sure that it doesn't feel like it's that crazy a thing to balance out as far as getting everyone into their comfortable roles again. Like I know you lost Ahil, and he's kind of a lurker anchor. I feel like Rain can do some of the anchor spots. I feel like Syra can do some of the lurky stuff. It's not too bad. Like it's not too extreme, and then Gizmy can fill out some other roles just here and there. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Ahil, a player I think could fail upwards, but it's hard to see. Well, fail upwards, but I'm having a hard time seeing exactly where at the moment.
Well, if he does end up on Saw, he'll probably end up higher VRS than 100 Thieves again, because magical bullshit honeymoon nonsense that apparently, again, Onimutres can muster, but I don't think there's many other places he can go currently. Like I don't see where Ahil can go currently.
No, a lot of them are just kind of locked down. He's not that excited. I could, in theory, say that like Agil would be pretty good for like Shush, minus Shush plus Agil.
Did you just fuck? That'd be a sin on par with saying cut Snappy. It's saying cut Shush. Ahil, we never cut.
Ahil is good.
Are you mad?
Ahil is good. Ahil is
pretty good. Shush is fucking phenomenal for this NIP team.
Yeah. In any case, I could see him like come 6 months. I think Ahil will have a team, and there is a good chance they'll be higher ranked than 100 Thieves. Unfortunately,
in 6 months, damn, you're giving up on your 100 Thieves prediction then.
No, 100 Thieves I still get significantly better off of Gizmy. I just think that Ahil is the kind of player I could like genuinely see slotting into like a top 15 kind of team at some point during the fall season. And he speaks Portuguese. If Tomashin doesn't work out, you need an anchor on Legacy who speaks Portuguese.
Yeah, I just we've only ever seen one of the like. I don't. Maybe there's more I haven't named. I've not seen that crossover happen too much to a point where I expect it to be a surprise if it does.
He's happen. One of. I think he's one. Didn't he actually make that same crossover by going to Imperial for like a month?
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't him. That was SHR. It was SHR.
Yeah, and that went horribly.
Sure. Yeah. But his last name is also Hill. He's Jose Hill.
No,
I think Gilbert. Gilbert.
I don't think Ahil has the rep in the scene for that. I don't think he's personally I don't think he's that good. I think he's good for his roles and was the best for his roles on that SOAR team he was last on. And I thought he did fairly well on 100 Thieves, but 100 Thieves aren't making the major, and he wasn't dropping 115.
That's true.
So,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't see it. But hey, he does end up on SOAR again. That'll be his best chance.
Phantom and finished the rebuild. This is
yeah, we're now getting to the tier 2 rebuilding section.
Yeah, I realized that usually when we do this, we do Eternal Shuffling. You give them grades, but
we've just been talking very generally. We've been giving very nuanced takes. I guess I could, for these guys, go a little bit faster and give just some grading.
Here's a roster: TMB, Nicholas, K, Kylar, and shjeld, with Lunatic as the coach.
I mean, as a rebuild, you have to grade it based on what was into what is. So first, just let me compare to who we've cut.
You're cutting DGL, Kunai,
and Milky. That was originally the team. They made a move earlier in the season to get TMB, and he's now played 41 maps. Then now they've made Nicholas and shjeld the next two players. It just kind of has to be an upgrade because I don't believe that heavily. I think DGL it's a bit of a harsh cut because of his numbers generally pretty good. But Nicholas, even though he's not a tier 1 like playmaking AWPER, who's really super diverse and versatile and can rifle and all that stuff, like he's not as good as hoped. Like the CS2 buff for him felt real, like it was weird. I still think he's a better player who can compete and carry games at a higher level than DGL, based on what I've seen. So that's an upgrade. shjeld is, I think, if you're going to have a random Polish rifler that you're taking a prayer on that he gets better or reaches his ceiling more consistently, I would bet on the, what is he now, 18? 19-year-old who's actually put up crazy dominant maps against very good opponents. I'd take the bet on shjeld. So yeah, I think this is an A-grade rebuild for who they are, the resources I think they have, and where they were and where they are now. Lovely. Hey.
Yeah, nice. Heroic have announced changes in their coaching staff. Their assistant coach is gone, Ronick. Tobis is gone. Doto is promoted from the academy side, which has also been dropped entirely. So I guess he was just retained. And the report is that xFloud would go to Foot to potentially replace Lonix with no replacement announced. But let's just pretend he's still on the roster. And Martinez to come in for Youngster to op.
Yeah, Martinez in for Youngster is immediately just that by itself, just like an A+. Like it's a real AWPER. It's an AWPER who's pretty good, shown a lot of good stuff at a variety of levels. For Heroic, it's an immediate upgrade. The rest of it, like when it comes to who's going to come in to replace xFloud or what's going on with xFloud, obviously is up in the air. Doto replacing Tobis. Yeah, I mean, they haven't quite been the same post-SOAR. Like, the org has never been able to min-max quite the same, and they did have a period where they had SOAR, and they had, like, Linus, Youngster, Tanir xFloud, and that was really exciting. And you can't really be too mad, because they did downgrade the talent for Tobis to work with. But I understand why they've basically felt like, oh, we can go from one academy coach to another, essentially.
You know what I'll say?
What?
Recently, Heroic have been making layoffs. That's why the academy team is gone.
Ooh, yeah.
That's why Sneaky Beaky, the community manager, is gone. I think since maybe the end of last month or the end of this month. Doto is cheaper than Tobis.
Is Martinez cheaper than Youngster
though? Well, no, but it's kind of a no-brainer that you. You need to have somebody like that. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's like they're obviously not compromising on Nilo, who I assume at this point, I assume signed on a contract with a decent tier 1 salary. Obviously not compromising on like Sosp and Krisen, who I think are a level above what I think Doto demands in terms of a tier 1 level pay. Maybe they've gone for Doto because that's the best they can do while signing Martinez, because they want a competitive roster and they're just kind of hoping, hey. And honestly, I think that's kind of fair. I think you can go a long way with a lower tier coach than you can with a lower tier player. So I think if that's the investment they've made, then I think they've made that correctly. What do you think about Martinez over Sunpayas? Because Sunpayas was previously linked to Heroic.
I mean, comparing them, trying to do as much of an apples to apples as I can. Like for me, Martinez has always been more dynamic as far as like he takes bigger risks. But I
Yeah.
can't say that in equal systems or on equal teams, he's been better. Um,
I would say that I like Martinez more than Sunpayas.
sure. I mean, you can if you want. I just struggle with it because, yeah, again, when I compare apples to apples, I don't think he was better. But then again, we haven't seen them at a similar level since, CS:GO. In CS2, Martinez has been firmly in tier 2, pretty much, or he's been in South America, which is very different. So, I mean, compared to some players, he may be just a different player and a slight downgrade, maybe overall as far as consistency. If I had to guess, I think he would be. But I feel like for Heroic, who need some firepower, like maybe some flair as well, on this team, because things have been looking a bit dull and looking a bit eh. It's like, oh, if xCloud has a crazy pop-off map, it's great. Nilo's consistent, but he's not flair. I think Martinez can bring that. Like, he's always played like a very confident player. So it might be an interesting new angle for Heroic compared to some players. Compared to Youngster, it's just an upgrade. As much as Youngster was surprisingly serviceable at times on CT sides, he wasn't a tier even 2 AWPER.
Let's just end it there. We don't know what's happening with xCloud, and I think that's the real kicker, which sort of decides if I'll put Heroic in the top 20 or in the top 40, to be honest, for next season. So let's just leave it there until we know more. Eternal Fire add fuel is what you've put down, and the thing that they have added is 2 pretty good players. They've signed Kvem and they've signed Bro to replace Checks Notes, Demka and Rigon. So 2 mid players for 2 good, or like 2 good players for 2 mid players.
Is that your analysis of it? So you talked about it in the Discord briefly, so I wanted to pick your brain on this. You just not happy with Demka? You don't think there's any redeeming him? Because he is.
Oh, sure.
He has been fantastically talented. You just don't think they could, with these other changes, figure out a better way to use him, or are you just kind of done with Demka?
Well, Demka's not on the roster anymore, so I don't think they are going to do much with him. I think Demka got distinctly worse when Mistem took over the caller, because I am fairly sure that Waro was op IGLing when he was on there, and then Mistem came in together with Regali as Waro 2K got benched and basically took over calling. And then Demka kind of just got noticeably worse, and now he's gone. And Rigon also got noticeably worse. So I think maybe, it's just, he's obviously redeemable. I think Demka is a talented player. He's been a talented player in the past. And I think in a lot of ways, being good at Counter-Strike at this level is like riding a bike. It's somewhere back there. But a lot of players need, I think all players need a specific set of circumstances to make that happen, because a very big part of Counter-Strike is that it's a team game. It's very much a team game. And it's a team game where you compare it to most other team sports where you maybe have a football troop of 25 players, 11 of which are playing at any one time with substitutions. You don't need to have perfect chemistry with all 11. But in a CS team, you need to have perfect chemistry with all 4 of your teammates in order to perform optimally. And even small differences small discrepancies in that can actually have a big effect. So I think Demka maybe just had a rough go here. Maybe this just wasn't a team for him. But fact of the matter is, for most of the season, he has been pretty mid.
Yeah, he has been, and I think you're absolutely actually right. Like, you've kind of nailed this one, and almost incidentally, just on the end there, where it's like, it is a culture fit problem. Demka, I think, has to be on a team with players like Waro 2K, actually kind of like Kvem, but whatever, who are going to be a bit abrasive, aggressive, direct, loud in a way, like who are going to make themselves like heard and felt on the server, and not everyone can put up with it. Not everyone's kind of okay with that culture, and everyone vibes and meshes with it. And I feel like he kind of had to neuter himself, like in terms of his fit on the team. And that's why it all went to shit and why his numbers dropped off hard. Yeah, the talent's still there. And if he joins Fnatic tomorrow, who are now a Ukrainian team, obviously, holy crap, like he could probably add something to them. As far as the moves they made, so obviously Kvem is actually the replacement for Rigon. banger upgrade, because Rigon did the
Rigon.
role of a hard opener, but he was not a very good one. To
No.
be clear, he's not a first, like, he's not an elite opening rifler. He makes the opening rifle not look like the best rifling position in the game, as Luz always repeats on all his shows, or all his appearances that I see of roster mechanics especially. It's like, that's always his big, like, his big talking point about the opening roles, like, you need to be doing more, and Rigon made it seem pretty fucking difficult. So I think Kvem should just straight upgrade talent-wise, form-wise, youth. Like, he's got everything on him. So Kvem should bang. I mean, of course, I'm sure, again, Ikla will protest this signing, but we don't care about them anymore. And then Bro is a replacement for Demka. And as far as talent-wise, I don't think Bro is a more talented player than Demka. But I think Bro has proven he is a good role player as far as his approach to the game, the level of play he brings to the role-playing roles, like being an anchor, being a supportive player. He does it willingly and he does it well. Even though he's not going to, I think, put up crazy numbers, I think Bro's going to be very important to making this whole thing fit together. He's going to be a great glue guy. So I do love this. They have added fuel to their eternal fire. Like, this is going to burn hot. It's going to burn bright. I think I said there's two ways this can go when I initially reacted to the moves. Like, it's either it's going to be the best tier 2 team, like they're going to be the rising stars the next season, or it completely capitulates based on like the mesh and everything. It still could have some problems fitting everyone together. Kvem and Regali both have a bit of a reputation for having personalities. You know how people say that, like, oh, he's got a personality. She's got a lot of personality. Like, that means she might be a bitch or he might be a dick. But if you get along, you'll probably be friends, right? It's a big 50-50, I think, on both those guys. Fitting in with everyone else and having it all meshed together. But Jota fucks. Mistum's a decent enough caller. On paper, this is going to be sensational. Hopefully in practice it follows.
I like it. They're ranked 65th. That's a great position to... Like, the next step, if they just take a couple of more wins, is to start getting CCT playoff invites. And then... And Bob's your uncle. You just have to start winning those games.
Well, hopefully they understand
Yeah.
VRS a bit better than that and don't start playing fucking CCTs.
No, but I mean, that's sort of where they're at. That's where they'll probably be getting those kind of invites. So that's nice for them. 9 have completed their roster. They have 2 Danish players, 2 Polish players, and 1 Turkish player, and a Danish coach. It is Rals Kragen, who stay on, Bielani and Flay. Flay was signed since a little bit ago, but Bielani has just joined, and Rimme, who joined and then didn't play the one LAN event they played.
Yeah, not sure what was up with that. Like, he was signed in time
traveled.
for Super LAN, Super Crusade, Super LAN, fucking Digital Crusade, Super
shit,
just a
super shit income LAN in Bucharest. Yeah.
Super Balls and Cum didn't hire me. Fuck yourselves. Oh, I'm joking. It's all banter. Everything we say on the show is banter. Even the analysis, it's just banter, in case we're wrong.
Unless we're right.
Unless we're right, then it was fucking genius analysis.
Yeah.
But let's talk about it. Yeah. So yeah, Flay's not new. He's been there a good amount. It's 4 months. Yeah, Christ. I remember watching 9 with Flay. And that tells you that he's been around a while, because I'm not just out here looking up fucking 9 games whilst fully employed. Who the fuck is? Like, if you're watching 9 games, you better be unemployed or have way too much free time. So this is a very interesting set of moves. Because Rhyme, or Rimmer as you call him, but I don't want to call him Rimmer. Jesus, man. Like, really? I'm not calling him Rimmer, but Rhyme is... talented. Like, there's no two ways about it. He's just a talented young Turkish rifle. That's pretty exciting. I'm not sure how comfortably he's in English. I will never know. I can always make the assumption that everyone does whenever I talk about this whole thing, and someone in the comments is like, yeah, but he plays FPL. I'm like, it's just not the same, but whatever. Not the same as being comfortable in English, I don't think. Like, not to me, but
no, but
we'll
it's
see.
not
Hopefully
too
he's fine. I mean, he's been a star for that Misa team as far as how he's used. Like, he gets some clean opening setups. He entries on T side a good amount as well. But then he also trades a lot. So there's a lot of moments where he has a player to play off the shoulder of, and he's hitting a lot of those shots. I'm pretty excited to see how this works out. It's a very eclectic mix. And Bielani not a very exciting move. On paper, if you've never watched any of his teams or any of his POVs, you'd be like, who is this guy? He's a shockingly solid support player. Like, I remembered him on Copenhagen Wolves being like, yeah, he's one of the better players, like, surrounding Jorko. And, like, Mateus was, you know, a firebrand. You know, he's bones hot, but not very long. Bielani was relatively stable and average good numbers. I think on Colossi, he's had crazy numbers. He's a 117 for Colossi this year,
Nice.
Which is pretty nuts. A 114 against top 30 opponents, that's only 8 maps. A 119 against top 50 opponents, that's 39 maps. Like, he's put on a decent show for this Colossi roster that's not exactly heavily like loaded with firepower. They've played 4 lands. Across those 4 lands again, he's a 114. Like, he's a decent pickup, I think. So I'm a fan of that move, especially. Like, I think that's going to be the most guaranteed stable move. The problem that Nine have is just you have Rawls, who's your IGL, decent caller, terrible fragger, of course. Kragan, not a great fragger himself. This is highly dependent on Flay upping his game a bit, because he's been okay for them. He's not been at the same level he has been on other lower level teams. And then if Rhyme is as good for them as he was in those Turkish tier 3 sides, they've really cooked something up. They've chefed up a fucking exquisite meal. Remains to be seen, but I am kind of excited for it, and I have to give them, I think, a pretty decent grade on this. Like, from where they were with Sejot and Beanox, like, we've given Sejot his flowers as well on this show, but he wasn't hitting his peaks like that regularly. Beanox, not anything that special. I do think they've taken the right kind of risks. I have to give them like a solid B+ for this.
Yep. And I think last week even I said that Nine had sort of quietly fallen out of relevancy.
Yeah.
But then they went to Dracula. Basically all they did was beat Gamer Legion. And now they're up to 60 something in the world or 70 something in the world. So that's nice.
Yeah, so the Stomac
that was literally all they did. Yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah.
And Stomac, I think, still remains like, he's still in the academy system somewhere. No, he's not. He's just floating around.
They just got dropped.
Yeah, he's just floating around. So wherever he ends up remains to be seen, but he's a decent little player. And yeah, that land they played 8 maps. Bielani is a 108. You know, there he goes again. Sure, Flay's a 137, and that's way above, and that's kind of what we're looking for. But hey, Rhyme, if he can keep up with that sort of play, this team will be dangerous.
Finally, what will MOUZ do? And here I'll just press this. That there's been some different stuff said. Brawlen said during the major that him staying on was very much on the table, but dependent on the major performance. What I think this was Talking Counter or HLTV confirmed. I've heard it like, I haven't actually listened to the episode where this was said, but I've heard it. Somebody who has listened to it told me that supposedly both Brawlen and Xelix would be gone from MOUZ. Is what they said. Is what it was looking like. Anyway, I can't remember if that was Striker or if that was Sponge or whoever the hell it was. So yeah, what will they do? King T, what do you know?
I mean, of course, so fucking nothing. I've, you know, lower thirded this as the MOUZ plan ? And this Kicksand, because I'm like, please, 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 for the love of God, please, just don't go to Aurora. It's not because I don't think Aurora would be a good project. I just think there's so many other places I'd love to see Kicksand. Can we have 3 Kicksands? Can we have 3? Like, just copy paste Kicksand. Because one of the other IGL choices I was excited for these sorts of teams to explore was Gizmy, and he got fucking stolen by 100 thieves. Like, save me. There's one option. It's fucking Kicksand. He's not going to... he can't go to 3 teams. So let's talk about this team this year. Actually, let's talk about them just since Zelex joined, and since we've entered that era of MOUZ. It's been weird. Like, you know, since Zelex started playing, they have 33 maps with JL, 11 with Brolan. Jimmy benched. It's been weird for a variety of reasons. Firstly, Xertion taking over the calling full time just decided, if I give myself everything I want on CT side, I can drop donk numbers. Really strange to contend with them when you're talking about making roster moves and you're like, I have to potentially just fucking kill that. Like, beat it with hammers to make everything else work, because the T sides are horrible. And CT side Xerxen dropping 150 isn't enough to win you series, not against the best teams. So there's an awkward dilemma there. There's the fact that Xelex is promoted from the academy. I bitched and moaned about it on this show, because I'm like, historically, I said, if there's an intentionality about it, and they bring Xelex up as like a promotional piece, like essentially they bring him up, give him all his spots, everything the way he likes it in the academy, let him drop 120 fucking ratings, then sell him, they could afford like some pretty cool rebuilding pieces. Instead, they immediately bench Jimpphat. They go get JL as a stand-in. They give Xelex ridiculously unfavorable like opening numbers and volume and types of fights he just doesn't take very well. And I'm like, well, now what? Like, Xelex was one of our prospects of the fucking season. And then you promoted him and just ruined everything. So I don't know what I want to do with that. Do I want to repurpose it? Do I want to find a player to come in, take Xerxen off his roles, make Xerxen be that bitch entry, allow Xelex to play off his shoulder, allow Xelex to really play only take openers when it's like the manicured opener, you know, this exact timing's perfect for you. We have all the util for you. We have a read. Just go out. Basically, the other team will be blind or looking the wrong way. Shoot him in the head. Those are the kind of openers he got on MOUZ at NXT, and then otherwise played a lot off the shoulder. Was really good in mid rounds. Very stable, very consistent player, and he's found some level in this team, but it's not been consistent. What do we do there? Torji doesn't look up to snuff really. Like, outside of his CT play, he's still decent, but it's not as dramatic as it was before. His T-sides are still ass. Spinks has fallen off a cliff since you made these changes.
Spunks.
Yes, he's turned to Spunks. No one wants that. Who wants that in their mouth? Nobody. So how do I approach this? What is the MOUZ plan? Like, this is a question I mostly have for MOUZ. Like, what is your plan? How do you salvage this? Because none of the pieces you need to be working are working. You have a ridiculous amount of fragging from your IGL on CT side. Everything else is just kind of wank. So what now?
Yeah. I don't know. JL's about. You could put him back. Because he's a free agent now as well. No, but I'm serious. Like, if I'm going through the list of
I'm never being serious, but I'm just sat there like, I saw them play with JL, you know what I mean? Like, signing JL is resigning yourself to the Xerxen carry us, call around yourself thing, you know?
But like, what can you do? Because you've sold Jimpphat up the ranking.
Yeah.
I doubt you're able to like snag a G2 player like a heavy god. I don't think you're able to do that. I don't like. So then I go down, and it's like, wouldn't hate the rest signing, but like, is that even on the table? Is that actually manageable? Could you get somebody else from Foot? I reckon, like, if Lonix is leaving, could get Lonix, I guess. But like, if Lonix is leaving, they would probably hold on pretty tight to some of the other players, considering they want to replace Symmetry as well. If you're cutting Xelex, then you're keeping Torshi, Spinks, and Xerxen guaranteed. Otherwise, you're building from scratch. And I could see a team like, you know, Heroic wanting to build, like, being fine with building from scratch, because they're playing shit tier lands anyway, no matter what. MOUZ are giving up every single tier 1 invite in the fall season to do it. So they are keeping Torshi, Spinks, and Xerxen if they cut Xelex. Could you go somewhere else? Could you go to Astralis? Probably also hang on pretty tight to their players, but is there even anybody you would necessarily want on here? Could you go even further down? Could you, like, there's nobody you'd want to sign. You'd obviously want to sign Frozen or Twists on FaZe, but many have tried and many have apparently failed. If you go further down, is there any, like, nobody on Luminosity you want big? Yeah, it would be nice to have like a BlameF or Grix maybe, but like, it's not. I would break the bank for, like,
I'd bring the bank for
BlameF.
I'd bring the bank for BlameF, and I honestly, I wouldn't even take Xerxen off the IGL and sign BlameF.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. But
then again, that involves some like ugly jiggling. And the one move that I think
you're also not doing that. Like, MOUZ, they don't even have the bank to break to get BlameF. Like, there's no way.
We'll see. They just did sell Jimmy. They did get major money. I don't know.
No, Jimmy, I'm pretty sure it was a free transfer. He signed for MOUZ exactly 4 years ago.
Did he? No way.
I think he extended at one point. But I genuinely think he went on a free or close to it.
No, he's no longer contracted. It was free. Fucking hell. Oh, God. I never even noticed that.
I mean,
so there's not even any money to spend
the way they announced it, but like, it's
no,
not
like I checked in the announcement. Or the HLTV article. It is, he's no longer contracted. Like, that's a contract expiring, isn't it? Like, what else could that be?
It could be the way they've said it. Like, we're gonna announce the contract expiry today, and then Aurora announced tomorrow. But like, the timeline lines up. He joined MOUZ NXT. I'm pretty sure he extended his contract at some point. But like when Torji and all them were extending anyway, and all that. But like he joined pretty much on the dot 4 years ago. Yeah, okay, he extended at the start of 2025. So maybe he had I would say that maybe he had a half a year, maximum a year and a half. If he had a year and a half, then they probably got a decent sum. If he had 1 season left on his contract, then
yeah, look, I'm just going to say this. Of all the things you talked about, the one that feels doable and could be productive is Lonex. Because here's how I use him. I'm sorry. He's my bitch. He gets me what I need to get out of Zelex, out of Xertion, out of Spinks. And I mean, Spinks is still a stick in the mud because, as Jimmy found out, it's kind of hard to be teammates with Spinks and try to do any lurking. But if we get Lonex in, put him on anchor spots where he provides the most value anyway. Like, it's not that he's useless as a rotator and doesn't want to play rotator and thinks he's an anchor, but when he anchors, he's worth something. A lot more than what he's worth as a rotator. That allows potentially, a Xertion Spinks rotator duo with like Zelex big site anchor. Okay, it's not ideal because I still think this team has one too many active as in I want to be the star rotator type riflers. But that's whatever. T side, he takes some of that fucking ridiculous opening attempt load off of Zelex, who's at 27.5%. It's like they don't know who he is. Like, I don't know why they make him do that. I think that's probably the better option, is the Launex option. If you could get Jugs, it'd be even better, but whatever. Probably not going to happen. Jugs or PR could maybe even work. But right now, Lonex is definitely on the market. I'd probably go there, but I think this team needs a more of a shuffle. It needs more changes. And it may end up with genuinely just, you kind of have to move on from someone. It's either you have to move on from Spinks, or move on from Xertion, or move on from Zelex. Just to free up the other two. To do all the rotating, all the baiting, and all the opening work they want to.
Yeah. MOUZ are screwed.
It feels like they are. It's almost like they had something special going, making all those top fours. But no. They shot for the moon with no plan, it feels like, and have ended up crashing quite horrifically back down into the Pacific.
Finally, one more thing that I have completely forgotten about.
Okay.
Rumor about them having a buyback option on PR.
Yeah. Like, I still think you don't solve your core problem with a PR move.
We can end it there, to be
honest. He's more of an anchor. He's more of a big side anchor than any of the players they currently have. Yeah. But that's it. That's the only saving grace. Like, that's not enough.
Yep. Those are all the greatest hits of rostermania so far. There have been minor things elsewhere. To be honest, they are slightly too minor for this particular show.
Wait, they're too minor for us? Is there a show that specializes in things more minor than us? Is there an Epstein fucking Counter-Strike show? Like,
dude, I knew they were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
If it's too minor for us. Like...
No, I just honestly this week I didn't care to fill out the Eternal Shuffle. This episode is all shuffle anyway. It's shit like Shane leaving Algo. Maybe Shane can be finally.
That's huge. That's huge. Shane left Algo?
Yeah, now he's free to go to MOUZ. He can finally complete the journey that all MOUZ NXT players went through.
The one guy who never
Yeah.
got promoted, and I thought was a bit hard done by at the
The
time.
one who got away, Hubert Shane Schwatwi. he can come in and finally fulfill his destiny as a main roster MOUZ player. He's an anchor.
Fucking JDC managed to do it, so.
DC did it, Hoji did it, Zershin did it, I forget who the fourth guy did it, Jimpphat did it.
Yeah. Just waiting on. I mean,
Who is the fourth guy?
Shane from that academy group, like that 5-man. Shuhei was the other one from that 5-man academy roster. The only one who never got a main team chance. So, no, that'd be funny. Yeah. That'd be funny. It wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be a great move. He doesn't fit the roles. He's not that skilled, but
yeah, that would be the type of shit. Like we get to 4 days before Esports World Cup, and MOUZ just go. We're bringing in Shane on a on a temporary deal because we need somebody right now in Paris.
Yeah, no, they. This is what it comes back to, though. It feels like when they initiated all these moves, when they benched Jimmy, they didn't have that much of a plan. Like they really didn't know what they were doing, and it's currently unclear how they're even going to progress. Like if they have formulated a plan, like I don't see it. I don't know what it's going to be. It's not looking good, blood. It's not looking good.
It's not looking good.
It's stinky.
Anyway, yeah. That is the shuffles.
Yeah, the MOUZ plan.
MOUZ
not
plan.
Great.
MOUZ plan.
Shut the fuck up.
Honestly, MOUZ, you know, Drake's favorite Counter-Strike team is MOUZ. 100%.
No fucking way. Bro has glory hunted to the max. There isn't a chance. He's a Falcons fan, right? He's a Falcons fan. Like,
yeah,
you know
I feel like he has a soft spot for MOUZ. He has a soft spot for MOUZ, I think.
I really don't see it. I really don't see it.
I don't know, Drake the type of guy to be a 2026 MOUZ fan. It's just no, specifically 2026. He never supported them before this year. That's what Drake the type of guy.
He's just a fan of Zelix.
He's just a fan of Zelix. He liked when JL came in. Yes, Drake the type of guy to be a JL stan. 100%.
You definitely have him on stream. You're right. You've nailed it. I'm sorry, Quack. Sometimes I underestimate your ability to make acute analysis, very specific analysis of celebrity culture. That's what you're good for.
Fragment's a tabloid. Like, what can I say?
It is indeed. Let's get into the Retake Games. This should be fun. Quack has a game this week. He doesn't have a cock of the week because, again, just doesn't do his job. He spends all week faffing about, writing tabloid articles, and he comes to this show late usually and just half-asses it. As always, no cock of the week. But Retake Game, you did bring one, so I'll give you some credit. So what game is this? Because you've put a series of numbers into the sheet. I don't know what that means.
I couldn't think of a good name for it, but this is a... I'm going to give you a little bit of a pyramid. So I'm going to give you 5 statements, and you have to name 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of each category that I mentioned. They will get progressively harder. They're pretty hard to begin with, but all you have to do is name them. And I've made sure that there are enough options for you to complete this. But I'll just get started, honestly, and I think you'll get the hang of it. I won't stop you if you fail at one of the levels of the pyramid. I'll just dock you a point. So there's 15 points on offer. Are you ready, Kingt?
I guess. I mean, this is trivia, so I'm going to suck ass.
Name 5 in-game leaders Smouya has played with. Smouya is a fucking journey, man.
I know, but I've got to remember the exact version of all the rosters he's played on and half dragged to relevancy. Yeah, I've got to remember the fucking caller. So I believe when he was on Big, it was Gobby.
Probably. I'll give you a correct for that.
Yeah. Okay. On Fnatic, he played under... Did he play under Alex? I'm going to say Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Who the fuck has he played with? Who else has the Rat King played with?
One hell of a roster of in-game leaders, I'll tell you.
That's the thing. I'm struggling to remember his fucking teams. Like, he's British, so I assume he played on Endpoint at some point. So I was trying to think. I think he played on Interbreach and I think he played on Endpoint, but I don't know for sure if he played on both. So I'm going to just throw out a Mighty Max.
And the thing is, he's never played for Endpoint, so I'm pretty sure he's never played with
Oh,
Mighty
he's never played
Max.
for Endpoint.
I'll have to double check.
I assumed he had,
Nope.
because, like, goddamn. So no
But he has
Endpoint.
played 19 maps with Mighty Max. He played a single series with Endpoint, and Mighty Max has played on Fish 123. Oh, he played a second series with Endpoint in 2016.
Nice.
Played Epic with London Slayers in 2019.
So this is all Mighty Max. Okay, good. All right, Mighty Max is good.
All Mighty Max. So that's good. That's good.
For all the wrong reasons. Into the Breach. Who would have IGL'd Into the Breach when he was there? If he was ever there. I might be completely fucking wrong about that. Was Valde IGL? Valde. Fuck it.
Valde, I can't remember if they've played together. No, they have never played together.
Damn it. Okay.
So if he's,
that's definitely wrong.
He has called. I don't think even if they would have played together, he would have been calling, because Valde only called for like the odd team here or there. But
yeah, I'm just struggling because
that's unfortunately.
Did he play with? Yeah. Oh, one final one. He played with under Alex, the other Alex, the Spanish Alex on Movistar, right? Or something like that.
I'll have to check if he was actually on Movistar at the same time, but he was on Movistar. Like he was.
Yeah, surely that was
about
the
4
Alex
months.
led one.
Insane period of Smoothie's career, and Alex was there. Yeah,
yes.
Brazilian Steel was also there, but I'm assuming Alex was the caller. I'll just count that as Alex being the caller. Yeah. So yeah, you get 4 out of 5 points on the first level of the pyramid.
Okay.
That's honestly not bad. I'll tell you, he also played with Canadian Steel when they were on Chaos.
Oh, Chaos! I forgot about his trip across the Atlantic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure Steve was still there at that point. He would have played with Fear on The Witchers.
Oh yeah.
Let me check, because he went with Into the Breach twice. Let me just check who was on there real quick, because I wouldn't say Robin, but that's not true. Adam9130.
Oh yes, that's the one.
That's the one. That's the UK cunt who was on there then. Synopsy was calling for a bit when he played there, which is cursed as fuck. He's played with Snappy on Contact.
Oh, I forgot about his Contact stint.
Yeah, he's played with Azer on Renegades in between the 2 big stints. He was on Epsilon twice, and I can only imagine the callers that he played with there. I'm assuming Barbar was calling that first team, and then the second one would have been, let me look this up, Robin. Yeah, he did play with Robin. Yeah.
Damn, you've got the right answers to your own trivia. I'm shocked.
Yeah. I am shocked as well. But that's only the first layer of the pyramid. And I did say they were going to get more challenging. This one might actually be easier for you. It would have been hard for me.
Okay.
Name 4. So no, you only have to name 4. But it is more difficult. 4 teams ranked top 10 in June 2017. So I've just gone to the ranking.
2017.
Yeah. Like, just so I have a specific framework. June 26th to be specific, but it's like the end of June rankings. The end of the...
Okay.
We really have spring seasons at that point.
So just need 4.
4 who were top 10. Yeah, don't need to be in order. They just have to be top 10.
I forget where this... this is after the Great Schism, so I think Fnatic are back together. So I'm just going to name 4 without stopping. So I'm going to go SK, Astralis, Virtus Pro, Fnatic.
So SK are number 1. Astralis are number 3. Fnatic are number 7. And Virtus Pro are number 10. You just about got it. By a 2-point margin on the HLTV ranking, they were ahead of Optic in 11th.
Fuck your Optic.
So yeah, nice. That's 4 points for you. Congratulations.
Nice.
This one will absolutely test your memory, but I'm pretty sure you can remember a couple. Name 3.
Yeah.
Name 3. Ecstatic AWPERs.
Ecstatic AWPERs.
AWPERs for ecstatic.
All right. We have the Great White Fraud, Wolfie. We have...
he's a goat.
Oh, he was right after him. Cock and balls. Bird Fromsky. Who did you play with on Ecstatic? Come on. The Wolfie. I feel like Wolfie was replaced whilst that team was still playing. And he was replaced by... It wasn't Regeli. I feel like it... What's that twat's name? Who was on Copenhagen Flames. And before... It wasn't Farley, was it? Come on. I see, like, I'm trying to look this way as much as possible because I have chat and the Spain-Portugal game on that screen because I cannot focus on one thing at a time for some stupid reason. I can see chat moving, so I'm trying to stare straight so I don't cheat because I'm struggling here. Ecstatic. What if we just didn't... Okay. The full Danish sides who weren't actually as interesting. Salazar?
Is that a guess?
Yes.
Yes, Salazar was an ecstatic opera. He was part of the team when they got... I can't remember if they got 13-0'd or if they 13-0'd G2 in that one RMR.
And finally, got a feeling a part of his comeback tour... Oh, no. I'm not sure if a part of his comeback tour / late career collapse was here, but no one else has come to mind. I'm going to go AWPER.
AWPER is correct.
Yes.
112 rating in 95 maps for ecstatic. As by my count, you had 6 options, so you got Wolfie correct. Obviously, from Y Radar from Sky is on my radar.
Avian from Above, my favorite one.
Yeah. Xello is the guy you were thinking of. He's the guy.
Yes,
who,
it was Xello. Yes, Romanian Xello. Yes.
Yeah, AWPER is correct. Christu, obviously, many viewers will be screaming at you.
Yes,
He was
the bum of all bums.
Player. Yeah.
Call that man Brazilian the way he had Gyat. That was a BBL right there. So much ass.
Yeah, and then Salazar was correct, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by my count. And the 6th option, I think 7 maybe, because it's Gen C. Like, if you pulled Gen C out of 3 maps played, I would have given you correct. But it's Nikoros. 125 rating in 100 maps for ecstatic.
Nikoros the GOAT.
Nikoros honestly was the GOAT on ecstatic. So good, great, 3 points for you. Here is again something which is, for me, this is like prime time you and me Counter-Strike watchers. Name 2 We Play Academy League winning organizations.
Oh.
Should be fairly easy to get at least one.
Yeah,
then it is just a matter of like how we. I know you and I both followed this league very closely.
I know them. I've got them.
Yeah.
Navi Junior. Please tell me I'm not going crazy. They did win like one of the first 2 seasons, right?
What's your other guess?
Astralis Talent. I know they. I'm pretty sure they did, and I'm pretty sure I was genuinely fucking shocked when it happened because I had predicted they'd be wank, and I was almost right. So yeah, I think those 2.
Somehow, you've got 0 correct for this question. So, Navi Junior finished runner-up at best.
I forgot MOUZ XT. I'm so stupid.
Yeah, MOUZ XT won the first 3 seasons.
I forgot that when Navi Junior were good, MOUZ XT were just better.
Navi Junior finished runner-up in the 2nd season. MOUZ and XT... Yeah, Astralis Talent were never good. They
finished
never
like
even made
3rd
a
at some
final.
point.
Probably, yeah.
That's probably the time when I tweeted an apology and tagged the wrong person.
Yeah, so MOUZ and XT won the first 4 seasons of We Play Academy League.
God.
I thought you were going to go to Spirit Academy, but they only finished runner-up twice at the end. So the actual eventual other 2 winners were Fnatic Rising and Young Ninjas.
Damn,
so, yeah.
Crazy fumble to not have got one there.
That is a bit of a crazy fumble, to be honest. Yeah, Astralis Talent finished 3rd behind Big Academy and MOUZ NXT in Season 3.
Folded under 0 pressure.
I mean, yeah, that was... I honestly thought you would get at least 1. So that's 2 docked points for you there.
2 docked points?
2 points you didn't get.
Yeah, missed, not docked.
Yeah, all right. Off the top of my head, I could think of 2 answers for this question, but you are to name 1... Dude, this is insane. 1 player with dual citizenships, one of which is African.
Oh, that's not actually that hard. Because there's one right here. He's North African and French. He was overrated for a long time, put up numbers that were absolutely meaningless, never performed at tier 1. It's Hadji.
Yeah. Good job. Maybe a little bit of a layup. I almost put this at 2, but I just couldn't think of a way that you would.
Give me a second to think of a second one.
Yeah.
I need someone with an African and other citizenship.
I'll give you if you get this one, if you get a second one, I'll give you 3 points, which means you get a full score for the game.
Okay, let me see. African and something else. Now, the fact that Gizmy has a Von or some sort of Van shit going on, there's the other implication could be that he's South African based on that, but I've never actually looked into it / truly believed that. It's always been one of the many bold assumptions I make. So I'm not going to go there. Otherwise, we have to look towards a dual citizenship. One of the citizenships is African. I don't know if Danish citizens are allowed to hold dual citizenship. I never know the laws on every country. Because there's a part of me is like, maybe Refresh still holds Somalian or some other East African nation's identity, citizenship. I wouldn't actually know. But speaking of Somalia, I think the Swede from 1.6, Spawn, held Swedish-Somalian dual citizenship. But again, maybe he's a Swedish Somali. I'm not sure he actually held both citizenships. So that's the difficulty here. I'm going to go with that, though. I'm going to go with Spawn. I don't even know if that was a valid sort of answer for the game we're playing, but if 1.6 was an option, I'm just going to throw it out there.
I didn't think of Spawn. He's not one of the guys I thought of. He is Somali-born and Swedish, which I will count. He's listed as having 2 nationalities on Wikipedia, listed. Okay, so I'm gonna say this right. Refresh is not. He's of Somali descent per Wikipedia, which is
Somali,
which I wouldn't have accepted.
I decided to be PC by saying all other East African as if I didn't fucking know, but like,
yeah, that's correct. The other one that I thought of is that JT is actually South African and Portuguese.
Is he? Oh,
yes. I don't know if he speaks Portuguese, but he Wikipedia says that he is South African - Portuguese. Which makes sense because his name is Ioannis Theodosiou. So like that sounds
what's that got to do with Portugal? Yeah.
Nobody says more, but like he's like, that sounds like, you know, South Africa and somewhere else. Like
it's Greece.
Yeah, true.
He's got the
but
most
like it makes sense.
Greek sounding name I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I read that and I was like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. There's somewhere else tied into this. So yeah.
Okay. But no, yeah, that was me. Like I talked myself into it because I'm like, I've scoured the deck. It's African. I'm gonna go through every guy I remember from CS who's black and think if I've seen something that implies they hold the second nationality. And I was convinced I'd saw Somali Swedish on Spawn's page. So I was like, that's where I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thumbs
Nice.
up. Correct. You get a full score because I did bring in that extra rule. Haji was maybe a little bit too easy, but you're usually horrible at remembering trivia that don't involve KPRs. So I figured you might not actually get to Haji. But yeah, good job.
Nice. All right. I'm fucking happy with that one. It's a pretty fun game. Especially when I do well. All the games are more fun when I do well. When you don't ask ridiculous questions that I would never be expected to remember as a normal functioning human who pays taxes, votes, and speaks to other humans. Let's get into our final segment of the show. It is going to be a very weird little segment on prospects of the week because not a whole lot has been played in the last week. Some really obscure little events that no one followed, especially not us. So it's kind of tough to even have an opinion or a take, right? That's part of the point. Prospects of the week, the reason I don't want to just pick a guy who's got big numbers and a little age is because I'm like, I want to be able to say something about this guy. And this week, I had to be honest, I didn't recognize a damn name. I hadn't watched any of these guys. But I can say this. Jaboan, still yet to play Tier 1. I'll still count him as a prospect for now. Fantastic debut for FaZe. He's going to be our prospect of the week. He's been like prospect of the month contender before. So it's no surprise that he's going to be able to get some more mentions, some more notoriety. Great debut. He hit the easy shots. He hit some crazy hard shots as well. Some really dynamic flicks that I was very impressed with. Lovely performance out of him. Great debut for FaZe so far. Hopefully he keeps it up in playoffs and then also keeps it up against the top dogs in the world when he gets to face them. Love to see it.
Yeah, tough week for prospects. I just went to the stats page. I went last week. I went online and I dragged the age slider down to 20. I'm sure one of the people on this stats page could win a major at some point, and it's, you know, if you've look back at if you look back at this, I'm sure there's a 16-year-old I just glossed over who wins the major in 2029 or something. And but who the hell are these people? Like, this is some AI generated shit. When we have topping the stat sheet is Picano, Honest, Kenny, T-Shine, and NBL this week. So
Yeah.
I didn't pick any of those. I picked Zero, and I'm just gonna say he's done really good in XSE Pro League. He's Tyler have done really good in general, and Zero is one of those guys where, like, especially with Asian teams, for me, when you have an Asian team which is successful in tier 1 or near tier 1, you end up in a tricky spot when you have to replace players, right? Because you need to you need to find players who, like, you've sort of hit on something special which rises quite far beyond your own region. How big is the impact when you try to replace the player and bring someone new in? Zero's kind of hit the ground running. He's had a good year. He's had a really good event. They only played 4 maps, but he's a 133 in that, right next to his teammate G. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they do for playoffs. They could genuinely challenge for the trophy. They've already done it at a similar tier event last year. I don't see why they couldn't do it again. And Zero's so far good enough to do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be the show. Yeah, I don't watch any of Zero's games, unfortunately, but it's nice to see another Asian player step up. That's all for this one. Thank you for tuning in live. If you're watching this on VOD, leave a comment. Tell us your thoughts on any of our topics. You're our hero for making it this far into the VOD if you are watching on VOD or listening on Spotify. For more content, remember that membership is the best way to support the channel and get access to more content. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.